You wake up to the sound of screaming metal. A low, gut-wrenching groan vibrates through your deck plating. The emergency lights paint your small cabin in strokes of blood red. This is not a drill. This is the real thing. Your ship, the Star Ark Providence, is in trouble. You scramble from your bunk. Your mind races, trying to place the sound. It is not the familiar shudder of a course correction. It is not the whine of the FTL drive spooling up. This is a sound of pure, mechanical agony. The masterpiece built by the Phantom engineer is failing. He was your hero, the reason you joined the deep space program. A synthesized voice, calm and detached, cuts through the alarms. Attention! Minor gravimetric disturbance detected in Engineering Sector 7. Minor. You have never heard a minor disturbance shake the ship's spine like this. You pull on your jumpsuit, your hands moving with practiced speed. Every instinct screams that this is something much worse. Your terminal on the wall flickers. It displays the ship's schematics. A web of green lines shows a healthy vessel. But a single node flashes red. The primary energy regulator. It is the very system your mentor, the engineer, called his greatest achievement. And right now, it looks suspiciously like the heart of the problem. You dash out of your quarters. The main corridor is a scene of controlled chaos. Crew members hurry to their posts. No one is panicking yet. But you see the same question in their eyes that you feel in your gut. What is happening to our ship? You head for the nearest service conduit. The main corridors are for the crew. The access ways are for engineers. Your Omni tool grants you access to a maintenance panel. You need more information. The official channels are clearly downplaying the situation. As the panel slides open, you see a blinking icon on your tool's interface. It is a message, an encrypted one. It is marked with a strange, spectral insignia. You have only seen it once before. It was in the private archives of the Phantom engineer. You hesitate for only a moment. The ship groans again, louder this time. The floor plates beneath your feet feel like they are about to buckle. You slice the encryption. The message unfolds, not in text, but in his voice. It is a voice you have only heard in historical recordings. It is rough, tired, and filled with a terrible weight. If you are hearing this, the engineer says, then my fear has come to pass. The Providence is not failing by accident. I designed it to fail. The words hit you like a physical blow. This is not an error. It is a feature. And you are the only one who can stop it. His message ends with a set of coordinates. They point to a deck that does not officially exist. The Phantom engineer's words echo in your mind. I designed it to fail. The concept is unthinkable. He dedicated his life to creating this vessel. It was meant to be humanity's ultimate lifeboat. A self-sustaining world to carry a piece of Earth to a new home. Why would he build a flaw into its very heart? You follow the coordinates. They lead you down through the ship's less traveled layers, past cargo bays filled with cryopods, past hydroponic sections now flickering with failing lights. The coordinates guide you to a blank wall. It sits at the end of a forgotten service tunnel. There is no door. No control panel. Nothing. You run your hand over the cool metal. This feels like a wild goose chase. Maybe the message was a fake. A prank played by some bored technician. But the engineer's voice, it felt real. You check your Omni tool again. The coordinates are precise. You are standing in the exact right spot. A thought occurs to you. You consult the original blueprints for the Providence. Not the public version, but the deep archive copy you studied for years. There it is. A faint outline on the schematics. A hidden seam. It is triggered by a specific energy frequency from an engineer's tool. You configure your device, your heart pounding. The frequency is obscure, almost a forgotten code. You point the tool at the wall and activate it. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, with a low hum, a perfect circle of the wall recedes. It reveals a dark, silent space beyond. You have found the Star Ark's secret heart. You step through the opening. The air inside is cold and still. It smells of ozone and something else, something ancient and organic. Emergency lighting activates as you move forward. It reveals a vast, cavernous chamber. This is not a part of the ship you recognize. In the center of the chamber rests a colossal sphere. It is made of a dark, crystalline material that seems to drink the light. Strange, pulsing energies flow across its surface. They look like star charts, but they are not maps of any known star system. They are fluid, shifting, and deeply alien. This ship was not built just to travel the stars. It was built to contain this thing. The sphere is the true core of the Providence. The fusion reactors you know are just the outer shell. Suddenly, another deep shudder rocks the vessel. On the far side of the chamber, a monitor you did not see before flickers to life. It shows the ship's status. Red alerts are now cascading through every system. The primary energy regulator is critical. Life support is starting to waver. The gravimetric distortions are growing stronger. The ship's command is still broadcasting messages of calm. They call it a manageable power fluctuation. You know better. The failures are not random. They are spreading from the regulator you saw earlier. They are moving like a virus through the ship's systems. You realize with dawning horror what is happening. The ship is not just failing. It is being eaten. The sphere in this room is waking up, and it is hungry. The ship is not its transport, it is its food. You race back to the known decks. The official calm is breaking. You can see fear creeping into the faces of the crew. The lights are not just flickering now. They are dying. Entire sections of the corridor go dark for seconds at a time. The ship groans a constant, deep complaint. You have to warn the captain. You have to make them understand. You burst onto the bridge. It is a hive of activity. Officers shout reports. Screens flash with alarming data. Captain Ava. Rostova stands like a statue in the center of it all. Her face is a mask of stern control. You rush forward, shouting about the hidden deck. You tell her about the sphere. You explain what the engineer said. She turns to you, her eyes cold. "Engineer," she says, her voice dangerously quiet. "You are relieved of duty. Return to your quarters." Security officers move to intercept you. They think you have lost your mind. They see your discovery as a stress-induced delusion. "This is a standard containment failure," the captain says. "The Phantom engineer made no mistakes." They are escorting you away. You plead with them to listen, but their faces are set. They trust the legend of the engineer. They trust the ship's command. They do not trust the panicked engineer screaming about a secret monster. As they drag you into the corridor, you see it on a main screen. Life support in the lower decks is now at 60%. The lie is falling apart, but too slowly. You have to find more proof. They lock you in your quarters. It is a foolish move. An engineer's quarters are also their workshop. You have more than enough tools to bypass a simple magnetic lock. You just need a few minutes. But you need more than just freedom. You need the final piece of the puzzle. You need the Phantom engineer's full confession. The message he sent you contained a breadcrumb, a key to a deeper data vault. You sit at your terminal, your fingers flying across the holographic interface. The security protocols are immense. Layer after layer of code meant to hide this log from everyone. You work for what feels like an eternity. The ship continues to shudder and moan around you. The lights in your room finally die completely. You are working only by the glow of your screen. Then, you are in. A single file sits in the vault. Its title is My Last Will and Testament. You open it. The engineer's face appears on your screen. He looks older than in the recordings. He looks haunted. "I was a fool," he begins, his voice cracking. "I thought I could control it. A gift from the void. A source of limitless energy. That is what they told me." He explains that he was contacted by a non-human intelligence, a being of pure energy from the dark spaces between galaxies. It offered him the secret to true FTL travel. The price was passage. He was to build a ship around its heart, a vessel that could sustain it. He believed he was saving humanity, giving it a true future among the stars. He was wrong. The being was a parasite. It did not want a ride. It wanted a meal. "The Ark is not a ship," he says, a tear rolling down his cheek. "It is a cage, a mobile feeding trough, and I built it. I built it to feed this thing my own people." He details how the energy source, the sphere you saw, has been in a dormant state. It has been sleeping for generations. But he built in a timer, a fail-safe, a way for the ship to eventually break down. He hoped it would happen in deep space, far from any planet it could consume. He hoped someone like you would find his message. He hoped someone could do what he could not. The log ends. You sit in the darkness, the engineer's terrible confession echoing in your ears. Suddenly, a new sound cuts through the groans of the ship. It is a high-pitched, chittering shriek. It is not mechanical. It is coming from the ship's vents. It is coming from inside the walls. A presence has awoken, and the unseen hunger is now active. The shriek grows louder. It sounds like a chorus of a million broken things. The very metal of the walls around you begins to warp. A dark, oily substance starts to seep from the seams. It is not liquid. It moves with a strange, unnatural purpose. It crawls up the walls, forming complex, shifting patterns. The entity is no longer just in the secret core. It is spreading its influence through the entire ship. You know you cannot stay here. You override the lock on your door and step back into the corridor. It is worse than before. The emergency lights are gone. The only illumination comes from the strange, glowing substance coating the walls. It pulses with a sickly purple light. The air is thick and smells of burnt sugar and decay. The chittering sound is everywhere. You have to get back to that log. The engineer would not have left you with only a confession. There must be a plan, a way to fight back. You make your way back towards your quarters. The ship's internal security drones now float silently through the halls. Their sensor lights are no longer blue. They glow with the same purple energy as the walls. The entity is learning. It is taking control. You duck behind a support pillar as a drone glides past. It does not seem to see you. Perhaps it is only looking for active energy signatures. You hold your breath, your Omni tool powered down. The drone moves on. You have to get to a terminal with access to the deep vault. Your personal terminal is no longer safe. The main engineering hub is your only option. The journey to engineering is a nightmare. The ship has become a living trap. Doors slam shut in your path. Gravity plating fluctuates wildly. One moment you are weightless, the next you are pinned to the floor. This is not just a system failure. This is an intelligence. It is actively trying to stop you. The chittering sounds like mocking laughter. It knows you are here. You finally reach the engineering hub. The doors are sealed tight. A security override flashes on the control panel. Captain, Rostova has locked the entire section down. She is still trying to contain a problem she does not understand. You begin to slice the lock. It is a race against time. The groaning of the ship is becoming more violent. You can feel the hull integrity starting to fail. The door slides open. Inside, you find the proof you need. You access the engineer's log again. And there it is, a second file, hidden within the first. It is titled, A Blueprint for Salvation. You open it. It is not a confession, it is a weapon. A detailed plan to destroy the entity. It is brilliant. It is terrifying. And it requires you to risk the entire Ark to save its people. The plan is elegantly simple and horrifyingly dangerous. The engineer designed a feedback loop, a way to channel the entire output of the ship's fusion reactors directly into the entity's core. It would be like force-feeding a star to a starving man. The parasite would be overloaded. It would be purged from the ship's systems. But the power surge would be immense. It would cripple the Providence. It might even destroy it. There is another problem. The sequence cannot be activated from the engineering hub. It must be initiated from the primary conduit on the bridge. You have to get past the captain. You have to convince her or override her. You look at the schematics. The entity is spreading. The dark substance is creeping towards the ship's cryo bays, towards the sleeping population. You are out of time. You need help. You cannot do this alone. There is only one person on this ship with the authority and skill to help you bypass the bridge security. Chief of Security Kale. He is a man who follows orders, a man loyal to the captain. Convincing him will be your hardest task yet. You find his location on the ship's internal sensors. He is trying to restore order in the main atrium. You find Kale surrounded by panicked civilians. He is calm, authoritative, and completely out of his depth. He is trying to solve a discipline problem while the world ends around him. You pull him aside. "Chief," you say, your voice low and urgent. "The captain is wrong. This is not a malfunction." He looks at you with weary disdain. "You're supposed to be in your quarters, engineer." "I have proof," you insist. You show him the engineer's log on your tool. You show him the blueprint. He watches the confession, his face unreadable. He sees the schematics for the purge sequence. He is a security man, not an engineer. But he understands tactics. He understands sacrifice. "This is treason," he says. But there is a flicker of doubt in his eyes. "You are asking me to help you mutiny." "I am asking you to help me save them," you say, gesturing to the frightened people in the atrium. A tremor shakes the entire deck. A support beam groans and buckles. The chittering sound echoes from a nearby vent, louder than ever. Kyle looks at the fear on the faces around him. He looks at the confession on your tool. He makes a choice. "What do you need me to do?" he asks. You have your unlikely alliance. Your path is now clear. You must reach the bridge. Kyle knows the security overrides and the patrol routes. You know the ship's hidden passages. Together, you form a desperate two-person army. But as you begin to move, the ship itself turns against you. The entity is no longer just a passive infection. It knows your purpose. It understands you are a threat. The purple energy that coats the walls brightens. Tendrils of it lash out, trying to grab you. The security drones no longer glide past. They actively hunt you. Their plasma cannons, once used for riot control, are now lethal weapons. You are being hunted by your own ship. A drone rounds a corner, its single purple eye fixing on you. Hostile detected. It buzzes in a distorted version of its normal voice. Purge the infection. It seems the entity has a sense of irony. Kale shoves you into an access tunnel just as the drone opens fire. A blast of superheated plasma melts the wall where you just stood. It is learning fast, Kale says, his breath ragged. We need to move faster. You crawl through the tight space. The metal is warm to the touch. The entire ship feels like it is running a fever. You emerge into a cargo bay. The massive containers are supposed to be held in place by magnetic clamps. But the clamps are failing. Crates the size of ground cars drift in the fluctuating gravity. It is a deadly obstacle course. The primary conduit is just beyond this bay, you say. We have to cross. You time your movements, pushing off surfaces, navigating the zero-gravity ballet. The entity tries to stop you. It sends a wave of energy through the bay. The magnetic clamps pulse, sending the containers crashing into each other. You are almost crushed between two of them. Kale pulls you out of the way at the last second. Your leg is injured, a sharp pain shooting up your side. But you have to keep going. The chittering sounds are turning into a singular, hateful roar. You reach the far side of the bay. The door to the main reactor access corridor is just ahead. The metal of the door itself seems to be corrupted. It is covered in the pulsing organic substance. It is sealed shut not with a lock, but with a living seal. There is no override for that, Kale says, his hand on his sidearm. We go through it. He fires his weapon. The plasma bolt hits the seal. The substance recoils with a piercing shriek. It sizzles and burns, but it quickly begins to regenerate. Keep firing, you yell. Do not let it close. You both fire repeatedly at the door. The entity fights back. The very structure of the corridor begins to twist. The ceiling groans, threatening to collapse. With one final, coordinated blast, you punch a hole through the living seal. You dive through the opening, rolling onto the deck of the reactor corridor. The door seals itself behind you, the sound of the creature's rage muffled. You have made it. You are in the heart of the ship's power systems. The path to the main reactor is a death trap. But it is the only path left. The corridor to the primary conduit is a vision of hell. The walls are no longer metal. They are a pulsing, fleshy membrane of purple energy and corrupted ship parts. The air is hot and thick. It is like walking down the throat of some impossible beast. The chittering is gone. It has been replaced by a low, rhythmic thrumming. The sound of a monstrous heart. You can see the entrance to the engineering control bridge at the far end of the corridor. It is 100 meters away. Between you and it are the ship's primary energy lines. They lay exposed on the floor, arcing with raw power. The entity has torn them from their protective casings. They whip back and forth like angry serpents. Stepping on one would mean instant vaporization. It is a maze, Kyle says, his face grim. A perfectly designed kill zone. You study the pattern of the arcing electricity? There is a rhythm to it. A brief fractional second when the path is clear. I can time it, you say. Follow my lead. Exactly. You take a deep breath, and you run. You leap over a lashing cable of pure energy. You slide under another. The heat is intense. It scorches your jumpsuit. Kyle is right behind you. He is not an engineer, but he is a soldier. He moves with a precise, deadly grace. You are halfway there. The entity knows its simple trap is not working. It changes tactics. The fleshy walls begin to pulse violently. They extrude sharp, metallic barbs. The barbs shoot across the corridor, trying to impale you. You dodge and weave. One of them slices your arm. The pain is sharp, but you ignore it. Adrenaline is a powerful anesthetic. You are almost there. The bridge door is just 20 meters away. You see the final obstacle. A massive power conduit has fallen from the ceiling. It blocks the path completely, spewing a continuous torrent of plasma onto the floor. There is no way around it. This is it. Kale pants, coming to a stop beside you. We are trapped. You look at the conduit. The energy flow is too powerful. But maybe it can be shut down. Just for a second. There is a maintenance junction box on the nearby wall. It is fused shut, corrupted. If I can get to that box, you say, I can cause a momentary overload. It should cut the power for a second. Kyle looks at the box. Then he looks at the lashing energy cables between you and it. You will never make it, he says. But I can. Before you can argue, he takes off. He runs straight into the field of arcing electricity. He moves with a desperate purpose. His suit sparks as a cable grazes him. He stumbles, but keeps going. He is a man on his final mission. He reaches the wall. He slams his hand against the junction box. You see him shout something, but you cannot hear it over the roar of the plasma. Then he rips the cover off with his bare hands. He shoves his sidearm into the exposed wiring and fires. The box explodes in a shower of sparks. The giant conduit in front of you sputters and dies. The path is clear. But Kale, he is gone. Consumed by the electrical feedback. He bought you an opening. He bought you a chance. You do not waste it. You sprint the final few meters and burst through the doors onto the engineering bridge. You have seized final command. The bridge is empty. The crew either fled or were taken. The main console is still active, displaying the accelerating collapse of the ship. You have only moments before the hull integrity fails completely. You race to the console. The final security overrides stand in your way. Captain, Rostova's command codes. You do not have time to hack them. You need to bypass them physically. You rip the access panel from the side of the console. A web of fiber optic cables and power relays is revealed. This is your territory. Your fingers dance across the connections, rerouting power, bypassing lockouts. It is a delicate, dangerous operation. One wrong move could fry the entire system. A warning flashes on the screen. Manual purge protocol engaged. Biosignature confirmation required. The engineer's final safeguard. The system needs to know it is a living person activating it, not the entity. It is an act of will. A small panel slides open, revealing a bare metal plate. A hand scanner. You press your palm against it. Identity not recognized. The system states calmly, authorization denied. Of course, it is keyed to the Phantom Engineer himself, or the acting captain. You are neither. You look at the place where Kale made his stand. He gave his life for this. You will not fail him. You will not fail the thousands of sleeping souls on this ark. There must be a way. You think back to the engineer's log, his voice, his final words. He knew someone else would have to do this. He must have left a key. You scan the code of the purge protocol itself. It is a masterpiece of complex programming. But within the endless lines, you see it. A single string of anomalous code. A backdoor. It is not a password. It is a question. What is the price of survival? The question glows on the screen. You think of the engineer's confession. You think of Kale's sacrifice. You think of the choice you're about to make, to cripple this ship, your home, to save its people. You know the answer. You speak it to the empty bridge. Everything. The console chimes. Authorization accepted. The purge is now armed. One last desperate act remains. A large red lever is now illuminated. The manual release. The plan required a great and terrible sacrifice. Kyle had already paid his part of that price. Now it is your turn. You have to give the ship everything it has. You have to push it beyond every limit. You wrap your hand around the lever. It is cold and heavy. A final, physical commitment. You pull the lever down. For a moment, there is silence. A deep, profound quiet you have not heard since you first awoke. It is the calm before the storm. Then, a low hum begins. It builds rapidly into a deafening roar. The entire ship vibrates with a new kind of energy. This is not the groan of failure. This is the scream of unimaginable power being unleashed. The lights on the bridge flare to a blinding white. The main screen shows the reactor output climbing to impossible levels. 1,000%. 5,000%. The needles go off the charts. You feel the power coursing through the deck plates. A raw, untamed star has been born in the heart of your ship. You see it on the secondary monitors. The energy is being channeled. It is flowing from the reactors, through the primary conduits, and straight into the hidden core. The entity is being force-fed. The purple, fleshy substance throughout the ship begins to writhe and boil. It recoils from the pure energy, sizzling into nothingness. The ship screams as it fights the parasite. It is a sound of both agony and defiance. The purge of living energy is a beautiful and terrifying sight. The entity fights back with all its strength. The ship shudders and tears. Entire sections of the hull are ripped away, venting atmosphere into the void. The battle is destroying the very thing you are trying to save. But it is working. The purple infection is receding. It is being driven back to its source. You watch the core monitor. The sphere you saw is no longer black. It is glowing with a ferocious, white-hot intensity. Cracks appear on its crystalline surface. The creature within is being overloaded. It cannot contain the sheer power of a controlled fusion reaction. It is being cooked from the inside out. A high-pitched shriek echoes through the ship, not through the vents this time, but through your very bones. It is the sound of a dying god. Then, with a final, blinding flash, the sphere shatters. The energy wave dissipates. The screaming stops. The roar of the reactors fades back into a low hum. And then, silence. A complete and total silence in the wreckage. The entity is gone. The emergency lights flicker back on, dim and unreliable. The bridge is a wreck. Consoles are shattered. The main view screen shows only a field of stars and debris. So much debris. You check the ship's status. It is a graveyard of red warnings. Hull integrity is at 12%. Life support is failing system-wide. Propulsion is gone. The Providence is crippled. A ghost ship floating in the silent dark. You are alive, but you are adrift in an endless ocean of black. You look at the cryobase status. Power is being routed to them on an emergency basis. The sleepers are safe for now. You have saved them, but you have stranded them. You sink into the command chair. The adrenaline fades, replaced by a profound exhaustion. The weight of your choices settles upon you. The lives lost, the ship sacrificed, the uncertain future. You are alone, truly alone, in the vastness of space. You have won the battle. But the war for survival is just beginning. Years pass. You do not count them anymore. Time is measured in repairs made, in systems restored, in the slow, painstaking work of keeping the sleepers safe. You learned to command the wreckage. You rerouted power. You patched the hull with spare parts and pure desperation. You became a master of this broken kingdom. The ship's drones became your hands, carrying out your orders in the cold vacuum. The Providence is no longer a sleek star arc. It is a patchwork vessel, a testament to survival against all odds. You spend your waking hours monitoring the cryopods. You watch over the last of humanity. You are their silent guardian, their unseen protector. You are the ship's soul, living mind. Sometimes you listen to the Phantom Engineer's first message, the one he sent to you. His voice is a familiar ghost in the silence. He passed his burden to you, a burden of guilt and of responsibility. You understand him now. You understand the terrible choices he made. You understand the weight of his legacy. You have taken his place. You are the new Phantom of the Ark. The children who will one day awaken from their long sleep will be told stories. They will learn of the legendary engineer who built the Providence, and they will learn of the ghost who saved it. You carry the weight of your mentor's true legacy. You are the Phantom Engineer, and you will see them home.